Awesome. Okay. All right. So if there are any new partners in the room, my name is Marielle, and I am taking over Monique's role as the YHDP lead. Just for some context, she was our homeless youth coordinator, and she led the YHDP application and planning phases. So I've taken over her program side, and Gershom has taken over her homeless youth coordinator tasks. So I know that at the last meeting, Monique presented on the CCP, and at that point, the CCP was in its final stages and just working on the goals. Um, and I'm not sure if, are y'all able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you more.
Okay, awesome. And I'm not sure, am I able to share my screen real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure everyone saw the final draft of the CCP. So where y'all left off, it was working on the goals, and that was all the way at the bottom here. So the YAB worked on this, and everyone met to be able to make sure that we had youth voice in here, and it was submitted to HUD and approved. So I just want to make sure everyone can see that. And Gershom, was it sent out to everyone already?
No, Mara, it has not been sent out yet.
Okay, we'll make sure to send this out, especially to the projects that were awarded for this grant. And that takes me to the next part, which is that, and I believe Monique may have announced it at the last meeting as well. The projects were entered into eSNAPs and awarded, but we're in the final stages of making sure that HUD is approving of each project. So just to recap, it's Path of Life and RCCD for the joint transitional housing and rapid rehousing projects. For transitional housing, it's Walden Family Services and Martha's Village and Kitchen. For permanent supportive housing, it's Sigma Beta. And then for the supportive services, Navigation Center and the Youth Navigators, it's Transgender Health and Wellness Center, and then Silence Aloud. And at the moment, as I said, we're still waiting for that final approval, and from there we will be in the agreements phase. So we're hoping to receive final approval by mid-September. And our target date is still October 1st for those projects to begin. So at the moment, we're really in kind of a waiting phase, and hopefully by the next meeting, we'll have more updates. Are there any questions?
No questions, but I will add that everybody that was awarded some of the funding, I have reached out to and asked them to start coming to, invited them to the YAC meetings. Thank you, Patrick. I'm very glad to see you, and Moreno Valley College. So we are trying to get them incorporated, and we've already discussed, once they are up and going, we are going to provide them like 5 minutes at each meeting to give us updates, express needs. I kind of touched base with Gershom. I'd like to meet with Savannah once they get up and going, and she and I can go do a nice little in-person and visit each site once they're up and going to see on a more personal level how we can all, as the YAC support them by providing resources and referrals, because we've spent all this time getting this stuff up and going. We want to make sure we provide the supports to maintain their programs. So we're going to be intentional with that at our future meetings. Sorry, Martin.
No, don't apologize. That was really good. So thank you, Nikki. Yes, we do hope that all the projects or programs will be able to update at future meetings. And then I also forgot to mention that even though our target date is October 1st, I believe we'll be seeing real updates from them beginning November, as that's when all the training on how to implement these projects will begin. Other than that, Gershom, am I missing anything?
No, Mark, I think you covered it all. Thank you.
I had
Okay.
one other question.
Sorry, we have one more question.
Yeah.
For for the youth that have been on the planning stages for the YHDP, even though if the awards are going to start and the dollars will start getting dispersed in October, from the planning side of it, when is their input no longer going to be required as a group for it?
So I think that their input is always going to be required and encouraged.
So they'll
Yeah.
continue on with it?
Yeah, correct.
Yes.
Yeah,
Good, yeah.
Because they were such a critical role
definitely.
at getting all of this put together for YHDP.
Yeah.
It's just it's a small component of what we do here with our Yak Yap group. But with that said, I was just curious as to how long they'll continue on with that. Go on, and definitely throughout the whole program as that's all getting dispersed and those dollars are getting put back into the community for them. Thank you.
I think we're bringing it.
Absolutely. And just to add to that as well, the CCP, even though that it was finalized, it's meant to be a living, breathing document and kind of a guide for the programs. And if there are any changes or updates or additions that need to be made, it can be. And if they are, they will always be run by the YAB before final approval.
Fantastic. Thank you, Laura.
No problem.
Anybody else have any other questions about the updates from YHDP? All right, we're going to move on to our new business category, which is a presentation from our housing authority. Do that. Is she online with us today?
Good morning,
Yes.
everybody.
Good morning.
Hi, my name is Yvette Calve from the Housing Authority. Gershom, do you have the presentation or do you want me to
Yes.
share my?
I got it right here.
So the Housing Authority has the Foster Youth to Independence. We call it FYI. Next page. So I'm going to talk about our foster youth program. Next page, please. So what is the Foster Youth to Independence program? So it's all started. So the it all started with the Family Unification Program and was assigned into law in 1990 by President George W. Bush. The program was created as part of the Tenant Protection Funds with the Quezon-Gonzalez Affordable Housing Act of 1990. The purpose of the Family Unification is to promote family unification by providing housing choice vouchers to families for whom the lack of adequate housing is primarily factored in the separation or the threat of imminent separation of children from their families. In July 11 of 2001, an NOFA was published and it expanded the FUP to add a second category for youth 18 to 21 years old who lack foster care at age 16 or older and lack adequate housing as a result of amendment by Congress in FY 2001. In 2010, NOFA, the definition of the eligible youth was defined as youth at least 18 years or old and no more than 21 years or old, have not reached their 22nd birthday, who left foster care at age 16 or older, and who do not have the inadequate housing are also eligible to receive housing assistance under the FYI program. As required by statute, an FUP voucher issued to such a youth may only be used to provide housing assistance for the youth for a maximum 18 months. As of July 2016, as a result of the HOTMA program, the United States Housing Act of 1937 amended the above definition by expanding the age from 21 to 24. the youth have not yet reached their 25th birthday. Added additional language to state who left foster care or will leave foster care within 90 days in accordance with the transition plan described in Section 475 of the Social Security Act and is homeless or at risk of becoming homeless. In June of 2019, HUD launched the Foster Youth to Independence initiative to provide housing assistance and supportive services to young people with child welfare history who are at risk of experiencing homelessness. On October 6th of 2020, Secretary Ben Carson issued a notice expanding the Foster Youth to Independence program to reach more than youth aging out of foster care. The notice lifted restrictions that prevented some public housing authorities from being able to apply for FYI program, especially PHA that currently had FEP vouchers. On January 24 of 2022, the Federal Register was published and the Fostering Stable Housing Opportunity amended made changes to the Family Unification Program authorized under Section 8 of the U.S. Housing Act of 1937 to provide eligible youth with an extension of the FYI voucher assistance for up to 24 months beyond the 36 months time limit of assistance if they are participating in a family self-sufficiency program, which is overseen by the Housing Authority. So the role of the Public Child Welfare Agency is the Public Child Welfare Agency is the agency that is responsible under applicable state law for determining that a child is at imminent risk of placement in out-of-home care or that the child is out of home care under the supervision of the public agency may be returned to his or family or that the youth at least 18 years old or 18 years old and no more than 24 years old who left foster care at age 17 or older or will leave foster care within 90 days in accordance with transitional plan described in Section 475 of the Social Security Act and are homeless or at risk of homelessness at age 16 or older. For states that have private child welfare, the agency designed to conduct child welfare on behalf of the state may be considered as PCWA. The DPSS is the designated PCWA for making referrals to the Housing Authority of the County of Riverside. So our two agencies entered in an MOU to do so. Social workers and other entities such as Riverside Community College, Walden Family Services, and Kamali Foster Family Agency make referrals using the DPSS Child Services Division 2951 form. It goes to DPSS, and once DPSS receives is approved by DPSS, and it'll be referred to the Housing Authority. Our DPSS liaison is Monica Chapman. So once we receive the referral, we do determine eligibility. Once the requirement for eligibility includes the youth must be no more than 24 years old, must live or work within the County of Riverside, must be income eligible, must meet the Housing Authority policy on prohibited criminal activity, and at least one member of the household must have an eligible immigration status. So we want to make a note as a youth must be more than 24 years old at the time of the referral as an FY eligible, and also at the time of the HAP contract execution. So that's the Housing Authority contract execution. Timing of the referral is particularly important in this case For example, a PCWA may be planning to refer a youth that is still 24 years or old at the time of the referral, but is close to turning 25 of age. Although the youth meets the age requirement at the time of the referral, there could be a strong likelihood that at the time of the HAP contract, the youth may no longer meet the age requirement. So they can't be 25 when the HAP contract is signed. The Housing Authority and the PCWA will have to ensure that the youth does not reach the age requirement limit before the effective date of the HAP contract, or they won't be eligible. So we decided that, or suggested, the referral should be received 6 to 9 months prior to the youth 25th birthday. So the role of the Housing Authority, once we receive the referral, we enter the youth information to our TANMAS and giving them the Housing Choice Voucher waiting list and give them a first level of priority. After we enter their information in our program, the youth are mailed an eligibility questionnaire to complete within 10 days, along with all required verification such as verification of income, asset, ID, social security card, birth certificate. So it's recommended prior to the Housing Authority receive the referral, we recommend that the social worker or agency ensures that the youth is document ready to avoid any delay in processing. We also email the referring social worker the eligibility questionnaire that we send out to the youth to ensure the youth also receive that paperwork. Once the youth returns the information, we assign the youth to a caseworker to process their eligibility. Once the caseworker determines, check to see if the file is complete or if there's any missing information. Once the caseworker verifies the youth is income eligible for the program and meets the Housing Authority policy on criminal activity, then we issue them a voucher. So that issue them a voucher, we schedule an orientation or a briefing where the rules and regulation of the program are explained, and they are given what is called a request for tenancy approval, which is an owner's packet once they identify an owner to rent out a unit to that owner. The current voucher are issued for a total of 180 days, which is 6 months for them to find an affordable housing. Prior to that, the Housing Authority was issuing 60 days, but due to COVID, we extended it up to 180 days to identify a unit. Once the youth is issued a voucher, they are responsible for finding a unit for rent within their authorized payment standard or bedroom size. So they are encouraged to stay in place if it's all possible to avoid losing their voucher. Once the youth identifies a unit, they turn in the request for tenancy approval to the Housing Authority to determine, one, if the asking rent is affordable, the youth cannot pay more than 40% of their adjusted income towards rent, and if the asking rent is comparable in the surrounding area. If it's not affordable or not reasonable, the Housing Authority will attempt to negotiate the rent if possible. Once the unit is determined affordable and reasonable, the Housing Authority will schedule an inspection of the unit. Once the unit passes inspection, the youth can sign the lease and we can start the assistance. So for voucher awarded to the Housing Authority and where we stand right now, Between 2020 and 2020, the year 2020 and 21, the Housing Authority received a total of 100 FY vouchers. And I'm just going to give a quick overview of where we're at as of August 22nd. We have received 85 referrals from January of 2024 to August 26th of 2024. My presentation is great. So out of 85 referrals, we determined that 27 are eligible and they were issued a voucher. Out of the 27, 6 were leased up in a unit. 21 are still has an active voucher and they need to secure housing before their voucher expire. And 36 that we received referral were withdrawn for various reasons. The reasons are 23, we didn't receive any response from their paperwork. 4, they failed to provide all the income documents to determine eligibility. 2 youth are over income. 4, they're not resident or work or go to school in Riverside County. 2, the youth requested to be withdrawn, and 1 does not meet the age limit. So they reached their 25th birthday. Currently, we have 22 in process. Either they're waiting for their eligibility packet to be returned, or they haven't been determined eligible and they're still pending information. So to date, there are 57 youth that are receiving rental assistance. So we still need more referrals and hopefully we could assist more youth. So I provided some resources for submitting the FYI referral. If you can contact Monica Chapman at DPSS, and I provided her phone number and email. Once Monica has the referral and she determined that they're eligible to be referred to the Housing Authority, then we'll have that information, the youth information. You guys have any questions?
Is there an option that the youth can use these vouchers to rent a room? Because I know there's been a struggle finding apartments within their allotted budget.
Correct. They can do a shared housing. But if it is a shared housing, we do have a special calculation.
So they can rent a room potentially.
That's correct.
And if they are going to go with a non-foster youth and rent an apartment, and they're wanting their portion to be covered by the FYI voucher, is that an option? Is it considered? I mean, are you going to use both incomes to qualify? What would that look like?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that again?
Okay, so I have one youth who's trying to transition out, would love to do the FYI housing voucher, but he's going to be renting an apartment with a coworker who is not a former foster youth. So what would that look like? Would you be considering this a house of 2? Would you?
No, a household of 1, because it's just the youth themselves that are going to be receiving that rental assistance. So if, let's say for that example, it's a foster youth, they're eligible for a 1-bedroom and they're going to be doing a shared housing. They're going to have a roommate. So what we do is determine how much is the total or his portion of rent. So the youth will sign a lease with the landlord by himself. So there are going to be 2 rental agreement, one for the youth because and then one for his roommate.
Okay.
So how many more vouchers are there that we can utilized? I know that you said that there's 22 in the process, so what does that leave us in terms of how many more kids can apply?
It just for the we can issue the we have, I believe, I think 50. We have 43 vouchers. So we can issue a voucher. So once they receive their voucher, technically it's going to be first come, first serve. So they have 180 days to find an affordable unit to use their voucher. But a lot of our referrals don't even get their vouchers because they're either they're being withdrawn for various reasons. So right now there's 21 that's still active on their vouchers.
So can you share with us, what is the most common reasons that that are approved for the voucher are unable to use it? Is it because they can't find a place? Is it because, I mean, what's the biggest struggle we have?
The biggest struggle is finding affordable unit. So a lot of our youth, once they receive their voucher, they have to find themselves the affordable unit, going around looking for affordable unit within their price range. So
Is there
if it's
a list or any assistance in trying to do that?
to find, so for the housing authority, we don't have any navigation to assist the youth to navigate them finding the affordable unit.
Okay, is there a list of potential housing?
Yes,
options?
so we do give them a resource. They can also go to affordablehousing.com where owner and landlords will put their unit to rent out.
And how long would you say, and I know it's different for each case, so I know it's case varying, but like for a typical case, how long would you say the process would be from the submission of the application to word about receiving the voucher?
So at this time, we say between 60 to 90 days to process, because that's typically how long we determine if the person is eligible for the assistance. Right now, it's a little bit quicker because we're not, the housing authority are not issuing regular Section 8 vouchers. So it's going to be a little bit quicker than 60 to 90 days. It also depends. It also depends on the youth. If they provided all the documents, then it could probably be at least 30 days.
I have one other question. We have a young lady that's going to be aging out of our STRTP in California Family Life Center, and a lot of it is being controlled by her social worker out of Orange County. Does Riverside County work with Orange County? Because I really hate to see this girl go back to Orange County. She's been with us for 2 years, and it's really bad environment for her to go back to Orange County.
So does the youth live in Riverside County?
She has for the last 2 years, but she ages out of our program next month. And unfortunately, we've been hitting roadblocks with Orange County as to the timing for this young lady. We'd love to keep her in our care, although she ages out next month. So we're trying to find the solutions, one for housing, whether or not it be on a voucher like this, or getting her the assistance back in Orange County, which is really not a positive environment for her.
And she transitions to THP because we've got several who can keep her down in payment. She's got our support system.
That's the challenge, is because Orange County is controlling a lot of
I know.
what's happening.
You get a hold of me. Steps is down
So
there.
what you could do is, because she is residing here in Riverside County, if you can reach out to her social worker to refer her to to Monica Chapman at DPSS for that referral.
For that referral through Monica,
Yes.
So
because it's just been very challenging, because we deal with young ladies that come from all over the country, the state, different counties. This just seems to be the most challenging one recently, when it comes to assisting with, placement. Because she's gonna be aging out in September 8th, that's her birthday. She turns 18. So I guess trying to find solutions for that is sometimes a challenge. I just didn't know if interagency, inter-county and stuff like that, if our local DPSS, if Monica can work with those. Thank you for that information.
You're
So
welcome.
that's the question, can they be a former foster youth from, say, San Bernardino County and still qualify for the FYI voucher?
They have to be a resident of Riverside County.
Yeah, they have to be living in Riverside County. Is that correct? Is that what you said?
Yes. Yes, they have to be a resident living, working, or going to school in Riverside County.
Okay.
Yes, it's
Do
the
they
same
have
thing
to
I
be-
have a man who's 19 now, and we're assisting, directly with his room and board, because he's not qualifying for anything for some reason, and he's worked with it, so we're doing, private funding for a room. Again, anyone in Riverside County, get less than $1,000, you're doing really good. So, and we're getting him something at about $800. So
Do they also work with people who provide just rooms for rent as well? Private, like a private. Do you guys work with them as well? Like if they can't find affordable housing, can they rent a room in a house and still be inspected and all of that as well?
Yeah, so it's called shared housing. So they can rent a room. So let's say it's a house, they can rent the room, and then but there is a different calculation for shared housing.
Okay, so Monica, I have a lady who I thought was gonna be on, but it's not. She has a house in Banning area, I believe it is, and she would love to work with the FYI housing vouchers. So do I get her connected with you to get approved to be able to accept those? How does she go about being approved?
No, it's not. So the youth has to go to that landlord and say that they want to use their voucher where they're at or where the owner is at. So it's a housing choice voucher, which is it's a tenant based assistance. So they get their voucher, then they will have to look for either a room or a property to rent it out.
What does it look like for like the properties to accept the voucher? What is that process like?
So once
They take if they're not already like registered with you guys.
So they don't have to be registered with us or an existing landlord. If a youth find a unit, they want to rent that property, the owner will need to complete the request for tenancy approval. Once we receive that, we determined, of course, we check to see if they're the actual owner of the property. Once we have all those information, the asking rent is affordable based on their income and the unit is comparable. Then we'll go out for an inspection. And then once the unit passes inspection, the youth can sign the lease and the housing authority can sign the HAP contract between the owner and the housing authority. Once we have that, then they are then we can assist them with their rent.
Thank you. And if I could just say, sorry, we just had a process with one of our youth that entered one of our Harrison House apartments over in the desert with an FYI voucher. And the process, you guys did it was very quick. You guys, I think, got him in there within a week and a half. So that was very cool to see because he was really into the housing. But we also do have available units at Harrison House. A lot of our youth, don't want to go out that far if they're from here, but we have about 4 units out there. So 3 or 4.
I do love it.
Yeah. So I mean, they're out there. It's affordable. It's like $1,300 a month. So I think it's a standard.
So, and just an FYI, I don't know, but I'm gonna throw this out. But I do know the Harrison House side, not only will they accept the FYI housing vouchers, they will work with Equus Rapid Rehousing Program. Will you guys,
And whoever.
that was gonna be my question, where, okay,
Yeah, any
for-
sustainable.
and in here, Mainstay, will you guys work with the FYI?
We do. We'll work with everybody. It's just we don't have any openings at
So with the housing authority, we don't lead the anyone or participant to a specific landlord. What we do is we just give them the information. Like, so if there's a, if there's a landlord that tells us that they have a vacancy, what we could do is just share that information with our participant, and then it's up to our participant to go to that specific landlord and, and check out their unit.
Hi, Nikki. I'm not sure if anyone's monitoring the folks that are. Nikki, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, I'm not sure if anybody's monitoring those that are online. I've had my hand raised for a while. So I just have one question. I did have a young lady that brought the packet for us to provide her the lease of the unit that she's in our program, and we cannot provide the lease. So what I did is I provided a letter stating that she has been an occupant in our apartment, for the time that she's been in the program. I just want to know if that's acceptable because we are the leaseholders, so we cannot provide her the lease.
I'm sorry, is it, are they a foster youth and they have a voucher?
Yeah, she was completing the packet.
Yeah.
She's in one of the transitional housing programs with us. And she was issued her packet to gather all the documentation. So I was working with her on that. And one of the questions was to be to provide a lease, and I cannot do that. So I provided a letter of residence. Is that acceptable?
Yes, that's fine. If we're still determining eligibility, that would be fine.
And Nikki, if we have questions, if we're online, should we just raise our hand or should we just jump in?
You can raise your hand. We'll call you. Sorry, I was trying to get their attention to calling you. Sorry about that, Michelle.
Not a problem. Thank you. I just didn't know. Thank you.
Sorry about that. And,
Yeah.
and then we have Kimberly Thomas with a question as well. Kimberly.
Thank you. Yvette, what was the residency requirement? Do they have to be residents of the states, or if
No,
they were former foster youth, does that qualify them?
They have to be reside in the residency is they have to live or work or go to school in Riverside County.
Catch that. Live,
Okay,
work,
thank you.
or go to Riverside County. So we are so close to San Bernardino County and stuff. If they're working in Riverside County, they would still qualify to apply.
Yes.
Or let's get them enrolled in school.
Right.
Oh, God,
Before the
everything like that.
referral.
All of this presentation and everything is going to be available on the link. I mean, we always keep a Google.
Yeah, a Google Doc. Everything, all the presentations get uploaded to the Google Doc after. Yeah, to Google Drive. Sorry.
That's really great. That's awesome. Are there any more questions? I know we've all been excited and like going full on rogue on you. So my apology.
We're excited to hear that there are still some vouchers out there.
Yeah.
Yes, we still have, we're hoping to utilize our 100 vouchers. But just to give you a recap of the FY program, it is 36 months of rental assistance. That's the caveat of the FY program. It's only 36 months. After 36 months, then we do terminate the rental assistance. There is after 36 months, if they enrolled in our family self-sufficiency program, then they are eligible for an additional 24 months. So out of our 57 youth, we have 17 that are enrolled in FSS.
Say that again. Family self-sufficiency, is that right?
Yes, it's called Family Self-Sufficiency Program. It's a program here at the Housing Authority. So after their once they are eligible for the 36 months of FYI rental assistance, if they enroll in our FSS, they get an additional 24 months. So 5 years of rental assistance. So after that, then they no longer are eligible for the rental assistance. But we do encourage the youth to enroll in our FSS. But it's a little bit of a struggle too, because we've reached out to the youth and sometimes it's hard to encourage them to enroll in FSS. FSS is not mandatory. So we can't force them to enroll. We just encourage them.
Sorry, do you know why it's difficult to enroll them? Is it like based on your experience, why is it difficult?
So we do have the family self-sufficiency program. The caseworker will reach out, send them a flyer, send them a letter, calling them, but I'm not sure. Sometimes they just don't want to enroll or have another, I guess, have another social worker or some. I can't answer that question because it is a struggle because we can't force them to enroll. What we do is encourage them that after your 36 months of rental assistance, you'll be terminated. If you enroll in FSS, which is another program to encourage to become self-sufficient, finding whatever their goal is, looking for a job, going back to school, to just become self-sufficient is we don't have a lot of turnaround on enrolling.
And Rainbow?
I just don't want to.
No.
Okay. Do you guys offer case management while they're in the program for when this, end period comes up?
For the regular FYI, if they're not enrolled in FSS, they just have a case manager that just determine every single year if they still eligible for rental assistance. So once they lease up, the following year, we do the eligibility to make sure that they're still income eligible, to determine what their portion of the rent is going to be. If they do enroll in FSS, they do have a specific case manager that will assist them with their goals to become self-sufficient. But it is up to the youth to do that, to be more proactive.
Okay, what is the top limit that's eligible for the FYI housing vouchers?
Are you talking about the income limit?
Yeah, no, what's the top amount that they can be awarded for their housing?
It just depends on their the number of households. So for a household one member, the annual income limit is 35,900. So they can't go over that amount, or they won't be income eligible.
The amount of the voucher. How much is the vouchers going to be worth? What?
Our payments.
Yeah, the amount of rental assistance. Thank you.
So our payment standard, depending on their voucher size, their bedroom size, our one bedroom payment standard is $1,678. So we encourage our participant to find a unit that's renting between $100 to $200 less than the payment standard. So we do have a calculation to see if it's going to be affordable based on their income. So the youth are not going to pay more than 40% of their adjusted income towards rent.
Now, if it's a family of two, because we do have mommies, what would that typically look like?
So they would be eligible for a 2-bedroom. The 2-bedroom payment standard is $2,101. So again, we usually recommend for them to find a unit that's renting between $100 to $200 less, because we also have a utility calculation.
Yeah.
And can you share the list of apartments that you have? Can you email that to Gershon and he can share it with me and we'll start working on?
It is under you could go online. It's affordablehousing.com. So that's the resource that we provide to all of our participants, that they can go online. So those property, it doesn't mean that they're approved by section or by the housing authority.
Okay.
It's just the same section.
And then, sorry, we have a question for one of our members on the chat. Chantel is asking, do you guys have most spots available? Chantel, do you want to come off mute and clarify that? Okay, we must have lost her. Okay, never.
Good, no other questions? I just have a comment since we're on this topic, and I'm hoping that BPSS will be able to join the band. The city of Hemet was just awarded $34.5 million to do, I think, up to 155 units of affordable housing. So I'm hoping that when that starts coming to fruition and gets actually constructed, there would be other similar projects, again, because even the city of San Jacinto was awarded multi-million dollars as well, again, to help combat homelessness with our youth, as well as just homelessness in our communities. So it looks like there's going to be some pretty good dollars coming our way. We just need to make sure we can come up with these type of solutions to assist them along the way. So
Build them tiny homes.
Yeah, there is a plan. Unfortunately, the city of Hemet kind of got themselves on that one for the village, the wellness center, but that's still underway with the county. It's just going to be in a different community. So that's good news. This is all good news. So I know it's going to be a process. It's going to take some time, but there's things that are looking pretty rosy in the horizon. Any other questions on it? Yvette, thank you very much. Oh, we got one more. I'm sorry.
Just one, because I have a partner, that house, beautiful, small. It's I walked with this. Trying to open up, and it's trying to get funding, but this might be an option. It's foster that that put in there that hopefully would that be something? So that's what I'm trying to figure out what amount would they could it cover that the rent there so that how the board place there. You know how renter there.
I think Yvette was talking about it be on an individual basis for the amount that could be covered. Did not seem to be, in my opinion, who we've been helping lately. It's quite adequate. Might not be covering 100% of it. Sounded pretty good. other than just doing the inspection, which says Monica can assist with that, and getting a property like that, because I know, Columbus Housing Project is another one that's out there, doing a lot of houses and more properties as we speak. This would be, really good information for her and for that project.
So we might be able to come up with some houses for that shared housing option, it looks like. So we'll be making some contacts and shared housing phone calls for sure.
Yeah, economically, it just works out better for them.
Big part of them are, and again, it's historically done that way, they're very transitional. You know, they're going from place to place, that we're serving their needs.
Yeah.
Meeting their needs, their goals, all that kind of stuff.
It's a lot easier than trying to get an apartment all for yourself. Less kind of hoops to go through and things like that.
Right, because we're.
And deposits and all of that kind of stuff.
Exactly, because we're not talking deposits, depending on the unit. This 1678 is not going to cover utilities, renters insurance. I mean, there's still a lot of things that they either going to have to figure out, water,
Whereas shared housing would cover most of everything. It's shared housing, so.
Yeah. So it sounds like we've got a couple needs on the shared housing options. I will follow up with Rochelle, Sonia, and we'll connect out there.
We have another question over here.
I have a question. On the vouchers, does it also assist with like utility costs, or does that come out of the pocket of you?
For the payment standard, what we do is determine how much is their portion of the rent. We offset some of the utility that they're going to be paying. So their portion basically it's less than their actual amount if there's no utilities. I don't know if that makes sense. So instead of paying, let's say, $100 because they do have some utility expense, we give them a utility allowance. So their portion might be it's going to be lower than the $100. It just depends on what utilities that the youth is going to be paying and what type of appliances. So we do have a calculation, and we do provide the youth. We call it an F sheet. It's a rental calculation, so they know what their 40% income would be, and then they can't go above the 40%. So they can't pay more than 40% of their adjusted income towards rent. If they have questions, if they find a property and they know how much is the rent, asking rent, what utilities that they're going to be responsible for paying, and what type of appliances, what the youth can do is contact his case manager here at the Housing Authority and ask if that rent amount is going to be affordable based on his income. And we can do that before submitting the RFTA.
And we've also used like Walden Family Services and the Rapid Rehousing Funds for kids that are have the FY voucher but don't have the deposit, stuff like that. So we've worked closely with Rapid Rehousing to utilize that too. So that's another resource.
Any other questions?
So we have a question in the chat. It says, it's from Ty. It says, so if I'm in a shared housing and rent is $750 or $1,100, am I able to have rent covered for a certain amount of time?
If they have a voucher, an FYI voucher.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's in the chat. I don't think he included that, but it says, am I able to have rent covered for a certain amount of time if the rent is $750 or $1,100?
Okay, so
Ty raised his hand. Ty, do I come off mute?
So like I'm in a program currently where I have rent covered for a couple of months. And after that, like I'm currently job searching, which is not the best thing that's happening for me right now. So I have like 2 more months basically after this month. And I'm like, well, if I can't find a job within the next 2 months, what is going to happen? And then not even that, like I just found this program because the program before this program I'm in now, they ran out of funding. So I'm like, well, what if that thing happens to me again? This program was to happen to run out of funding. Then what do I do by next week?
So so the housing authority is paying your rent or portion of your rent?
Yes, a program, yes. Till I have 2 more months.
Okay, I'm not sure. I don't believe you're in the the FYI program. Did you receive your voucher?
No, I don't think I'm in that program either, but no voucher.
Okay,
It was
so
just an
this
application.
okay, so this is so your social worker will need for you to be referred to the FYI program. And then we have to determine if you're eligible for the FYI program.
Okay, yes. And then so is there an age limit or anything about that?
I'm sorry?
An age limit or anything about that? Because I don't have a social worker. I've been opted out years ago since I was a kid. I've been living with my grandmother.
Yes, so your social worker or you have to be referred through the piece for the DPSS, and then
Yes,
DPSS will
I don't have a social worker. I haven't had a social worker at all since I've been out of foster care. I've just been with a legal guardian.
how old are you?
I just turned 24 in June.
Okay, 24. Yeah, it has to be a referral process. You might want to contact Monica Chapman.
Can I chime in here? Yvette, good morning. Hi, it's
Good
Teresa
morning.
Ruiz. How are you all?
Good. How about you?
Good, good. So I work with a program called Spark. Ty, if you can hear me. Our program works with 16 to 25-year-olds, and we're part of the public defender's office, but part of what we do in the community is also connect young adults such as yourself that have need any type of support. So in this case, if you want to reach out to me, I can put down my information down here and I can assist with the referral process for that voucher.
Fantastic.
Thank you,
Ms.
Teresa.
Kelby. Nice to see you.
You too.
I kind of have a question because I think what he was kind of trying to say is that he was in the foster. Okay, sorry, I don't want to speak for him, but what if you were in the foster care system and then like returned back home before you opt, like before the age of 18, okay?
Or legal guardian.
Yes. Do you then can you still qualify for that?
So DPSS is the one that will determine if they will be eligible for the referral.
Now, when youth call Home Connect and ask to be for the VS for that, are they automatically assessed for their eligibility for the FYI housing vouchers?
I'm not sure. I can't answer that question.
So we can't, okay.
So, because a VS for that can be done by any outreach worker.
Right.
So I think they would have to advocate for themselves and say, I'm interested in the FYI voucher. Because the FYI vouchers don't go through the coordinated entry system, right?
Okay.
So I think it's just different.
I just want to know how to tell kids to advocate for the calls.
Yeah, so they don't have to be VS for that in order to apply for the FYI. At least.
So many questions. Yeah.
It's a great program.
Work hard and
Good
help
stuff.
them. All right. Well, again, thank you, Yvette.
Thank you.
It's been very, very.
Thank you, Yvette.
So we're going to move on to the next item, our standing items. And we're going to start with our agency bed availability updates. I know we've got Operation Safe House, we have Olive Press, we have Walden. We've got several representatives in here right now, so I'd like to open it up. We'll start with Nikki, see if she's.
Okay, So the first thing I'll put out is there is a live Google Doc available to agencies. Moreno Valley College has it, that gives the availability list for every transitional housing program in Riverside County that's contracted with Riverside County. So if you need that, reach out to me. I'll get you the link so you can have access to that. And then Olive Crest, I have one female vacancy in the Coachella Valley, and I have one male vacancy in Moreno Valley.
You still have Michelle online?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I'm still here. So for Aspirinet, we have one female vacancy in Moreno Valley that's very close to the college, and it's a brand new unit. I have 2 male vacancies within the city limits of Riverside, and probably in October, I'm going to have a male vacancy in Corona. And let's see, do I have any female? I think I have one female in the city limits of Riverside. Thank you.
Okay, do you have?
I have 4 vacancies. Majority of them are in Riverside.
Okay, and what other towns are?
Other towns, Victorville, Moreno Valley, Redlands, Manatee, and Marietta.
And those are all former foster youth, right?
Yes, those are all the AB-12 youth aging out of foster care or off of juvenile probation. Rainbow, do you have?
We have a couple of availability in Harrison House right now at the Riverside TLP. We don't have any vacancies. We have one female bed for emergency shelter in Riverside.
One more thing on that. Also, we have for TSP Plus, only in San Bernardino County.
You're up and going.
We're up and going, and we have openings. So
I've got a girl.
referrals to you, we can get an apartment.
Okay, I need your application. I've got a gal who called me yesterday.
Okay, perfect.
Anybody else out there? Want to share? Anybody online? All right, thank you for that. So we're going to move on to standing items B, which will be Gershom and Savannah, going to give us an update on our youth action board.
All right, hello everyone. Pleasure to meet everyone. Gershom Goodall, I am a community program specialist, and I'm now serving as a homeless youth coordinator for the County Riverside Continuum Care. So as my colleague Mara was explaining earlier, essentially what we've done, we split up Monique's position into half. So I will be dealing all youth coordination countywide moving forward, and Mara will be leading the YGP program. So after hearing today's lengthy discussion on FY vouchers, I know that there's a lot of service that needs to be done, and there's still that large need for getting youth connected to services. So I will be happy to share my information after the meeting. Should you encounter any youth that need service or anything like that, please refer them over to me, and I can see I'll see how I can help them out. So other than that, I just wanted to update you guys on some of the stuff that the YAP have been doing over the last couple of months. We've been getting them connected to professional development workshops, conferences, and trainings. So if you or your agency is offering anything coming up in these next couple of months, we would like to hear more about it. And not to get too ahead, I know that all the holiday months are coming up, and I know that usually around that time there's a lot of need for volunteers. If agencies do turkey drives or gift wrapping, anything like that, please feel free to connect with us. We would love to have our youth do some of that work. So without further delay, I'll pass it on over to Savannah, who is our YAP chair, who will give you guys more update on what the YAP has been up to.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Savannah Brown. So what the YAB has been doing the past few meetings is we've been working on policy and advocacy. We were learning about advocacy on community level, the legislative level, and the personal level. So that was good. And then like Risham said, we're starting a professional development series. So last meeting, we had a discussion about what professional development means to us and what it looks like in the community. And then we also, yesterday, we had Nikki's Olive Crest Resource Fair. 3 of us SCAD members went to that. And yeah, that's about all the updates for what we've been doing as a YAB.
Any comments, any questions?
Yeah, I came and I'd like to connect with you guys after, because our program goes on for listening to ground.
For sure. Yeah.
Bersham just sent out that email last week, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is Ramon, who's gonna be teaching
Yeah,
those classes.
so I know that a few of our young people are interested in attending that 4-week program coming up. So yeah, let's definitely connect after. Yeah, thank you.
Julie, do you see any comments or questions?
I do have Nikisha High. They put a comment after we moved on to the next item that they said that they have 4 female beds available in the city of San Jacinto. And then just a reminder, if everyone who speaks can speak up. We did get a comment that it's difficult to hear.
Well, thank you, Nikisha. Good to hear from you.
You're welcome, Greg. I just missed.
Yes.
I have a question. In terms of the professional development courses, I'm from Miranda Valley College, so I wanted to hear a little bit more about that. I'd like to see how we can connect some of our students there at the college with some of this professional development. Would I be able to hear a little bit more about that now, or should I wait until the end of the meeting?
Yeah, so far, some of the courses that they have been introduced to have been on financial literacy, as well as budgeting and tax preparation. So we want to we want them to connect more to like service providers that have other like training, such as like how to buy a car, how to build credit, things like that. And it's really like I go based off of what they want, right? What off of what their interests are. So I think it's just like a matter of like getting them all together and kind of just like asking, okay, like what's the next topic that you would like to learn more about. But anything surrounding youth professional development, I think is would be helpful. Just anything.
If you're having youth that you're wanting to connect for those trainings, it sounds like.
Yes.
Savannah would be great in trying to explain to you guys what the YAB does, and we're always accepting applications for new members. And then they actually have a voice in this housing projects that are being put up in how the county moves forward. I'll be honest, I know a lot of you don't realize that this YHDP grant that put forth, it was these young adults who actually wrote the mission and vision statement. I mean, we almost had nothing to do with it, to be honest. I was in that.
We just read it.
I was in that group with Evie, and I maybe said 2 small words, and then you guys just, I think I got 2 words by saying no, tell us where we're wrong. Yeah. And they just took it, and within 30 minutes, they had it done. There was honestly no adult voice in that. So if you've got youth who want to be part of that, reach out.
And I would love to formalize some form of streamlining our students.
Yeah.
So that they can take advantage of the
Definitely.
service.
Yeah, I know a lot of them have also they've expressed their interest in taking courses on public speaking. So that's something if you guys have to offer, I'd love to get them connected to that. So
That's amazing.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, we obviously our students they take their public speaking courses, and so our counselors are definitely following them so that they can take these classes. So see how more we can support these skills that they need.
Definitely. Yeah.
We do something, similar to that. In fact, we're partnering with our local Elks Club for our Kin Care kids and our foster kids. And again, you've got, seniors who have some really deeply lived experience that can help coach them on some of the professional things. You can think of like Toastmasters, that type of stuff, yeah, especially on the speaking side of it. So I've always kind of geared towards our youth that are in our program or our families that we're representing, but it's something that can easily be opened up. Because these service groups, I don't care if it's the Elks, it's the Lions, it's the Eagles, it's any of them out there, they really want to get back into and help each other. So
it's amazing that you mentioned Toastmasters. I haven't heard of that term in quite some time.
they're still strong.
They're still strong.
They're still strong.
We do have a question from Michelle.
I just wanted to make a comment about the public speaking. There's also the Toastmasters International. A lot of times, if you go on their website, sometimes they have youth-driven Toastmasters. Sometimes they're fee-based, but I think that if there's advocacy that happens, you can get the fees waived, or somebody, maybe one of the groups on the phone can sponsor a youth to improve their public speaking skills.
I think we know, I might know someone who does. So I'll let you guys know.
Also, if you guys look through Cap Riverside, they have so many Riverside. They have so many resources through Cap. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So many things that, especially for you, that they just get rid of free taxes and all kinds of stuff. So it's a good way.
They actually gave the tax preparation course for them. Yeah. The VITA program. Yeah.
Cap is a great resource to utilize for sure. Yeah. I love them. I go to their networking things all the time. It's so great.
Did you say GAP or CAP?
CAP. CAP.
Community Action Partnership.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
Thank you.
All right. Well, thanks for the presentation, Savannah. Very, very helpful. I think we'll move on to standing item C, which is our coordinated entry system with Lucy. Is Lucy online with us today?
Yes, I am. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Welcome, Lucy.
Can we go to the slide, Grisham? I'll be providing the lead update for the month of July. So we have 30 youth on the community queue as of July. 6 of those were connected to outcomes, to housing opportunities. 14 on the queue are scoring rapid rehousing scores, and 16 of which score PSH. I did want to just side note that the youth on the community queue did go down. I think the month of June there was 46. Now there's 30, so we've been able to successfully exit 16 youth from being on the coordinated entry system. That is all for me.
Thank you, Lucy. Moving on to item D in the standing items. We had a Representative William Jones was going to be here, but I don't think he could make it. So we do have someone from the city of Riverside.
Yes.
Gonna fill in for Lois.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
My name is Socorro, as I mentioned to you all, I'm with the city of Riverside, I'm the Outreach Services Manager. And this is Jasmine Garcia. Come on up. If you stand over here.
Okay. That way the mic can pick you up.
So we were asked to present some of the services that we offer for the city of Riverside. Our outreach, our homeless program focuses on two, it's separated from the Access Center, which is a center that provides services to any of the unhoused population. They can just walk in, or we're there for them, and we have outreach workers there. But then we also have a PISA team that is called, that involves more of the encampments and out in the wildlands, Santa Ana River. It's split up into parts where, and that PISA team is made up of code enforcement, PD, and outreach workers. And right now we're also partnering up. We've gotten now partnered up with the county of Riverside, where we're having mental health providers with
the outreach team themselves, substance abuse, behavioral specialist, and then we also have a peer specialist. And so they ride with the team, and in case if those services need to be, they can give them right there and then. So we're just going to go. We made up a little slide. I know this is more towards youth, and we'll get to it. But when they told me I had about 20 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to talk about? because the youth is just a small component of what we do. So I'm going to have Jasmine start off with the services that we offer. I want her to get practice and presenting and giving information, but she's so knowledgeable. She's been at the Access Center for the last 5 years. I myself have been in this position for the last 4 months, so I'm fairly new. I'm not new to the city and to the services that community services that the city offers, but I am new to the unhoused population and the PSET team. But I'm going to let Jasmine take over.
Good morning, everybody. So Dakota pretty much went over the introduction of what we do, so we kind of not going to bore you guys with that. It's up there. So you can go to the next slide. So like she said, our outreach team is divided up with 2 teams. So we have PSET and then we have our Access Center outreach. Our Access Center outreach, they're more of like those that get the case management and wraparound services. So anybody that we house, they still will get that service from our Access Center case manage or outreach workers. That will help them basically get them connected, comfortable with when they get housed or any other services that the consumer may need that they interact with on their caseload. We're located on Hewland. We call it our Hewland campus, but our address is 2880 Hewland Place. We call it the one-stop shop because we have literally all the shelters that are in the city of Riverside are located at that cul-de-sac. So what do we do? So that's what our building looks like in the front. So in this picture, I just want to let you guys know once a month we offer a resource fair and clinic every third Thursday of the month. So again, we try to make it a one-stop shop for any consumer that comes to get the services they need. So they can see a physician there. DPSS is always there, so they're able to obtain EBT cards, medical cards, even apply and be. Some of them have got approved right then and there, just because they know what type of consumers that we serve. They want to be able to provide those services while they have them right then and there. So we're always building our vendor list. So if you guys, I'll hand out my cards at the end. So if you guys are interested in having a table, so you can interact with the consumers that are there that are at the shelters, you guys can contact me and we'll get connected with that. So one of the services that are offered, like I said, we offer the one-on-one support with the case management outreach workers. We are a walk-in center, so if you ask to speak to a outreach worker, we will make that happen for you guys to speak to someone. We also provide birth certificate waivers for Riverside County. We have access to donations such as clothing and toiletries. We provide transportation every Thursday to the DMV Social Security Office and DPSS. If you have a client that needs transportation, if you can get them to our facility, we'll take them in the morning. And it's kind of like a all morning thing, and we'll get them to where they need to go. We offer a computer lab for job searching. We have general homeless resources, employment resources. So we do housing resources. So we go to these meetings so that we can be knowledgeable to see what housing resources are available so that our consumers know. We have medical resources, kennel usage. So this is a big thing. So if you ever have a client that has a pet, we do have a kennel on site, so that is not a barrier for them. So if they are willing to go to shelter, we do have a place to house their pet in the kennel.
That's
awesome. Yes. We have emergency shelter referrals, mail service. So our facility allows any client that is street level that may not be ready to go into shelter or doesn't have the address. We do let them use our address to receive their mail there. A big one is the restrooms. I mean, when you're homeless and you don't have anywhere, the restrooms is a big thing. So we do have hygiene kits that we provide for them. This is another one. We do provide trip homes. What that program entails is that if you find a consumer that wants to be reunified with family, whether it be in another state, we do have money or funds available to send. It's a one-way trip home. Even if they want to get into another shelter, rehab, or any type of facility, all we do have to have is some type of confirmation from the other end of where they want to go, and we'll be able to provide the transportation for them to get there. We also offer life skill groups every Monday and Wednesday at the Access Center. We have a phone, so that's another big one. A lot of them lose their phones, so we do have a public phone that they can use to get a hold of doctors or any type of appointments that they need to set. And like I said, we mentioned before earlier, we have the monthly resource fairs and clinics. This one kind of done, but we used to have UCR medical clinic on site, which they were able to see a doctor, even get prescriptions made and everything, but it's kind of in limbo right now with police. So we'll moving forward, we hope they come back, but it's kind of not an option right now at the moment. So the special thing about the Access Center is that we do referrals. So the city of Riverside has a partnership with Path of Life where we have 60 beds that are assigned to city of Riverside residents. So if you have a client that has ties to the city of Riverside and we have the bed availability, we can just, you let us know and we can make that referral into the bed for them that day. Some of the shelter partners that we have, like I said, is Path of Life, Mercy House, which is our transitional shelter. We usually try to refer clients that have a housing voucher that maybe just need to look for placement in housing. A lot of our clients like that shelter, they have their own little rooms. So it kind of gets them to being self-sufficient. They do their own laundry. So if you have anybody, like I said, that's a city of Riverside resident that's kind of in that transitional space, you can let us know. We can make a referral to them into Mercy House. We also partner with Helping Hearts, which is a recuperative care. This one is open to anybody that has IEHP. Their main focus is behavioral health versus, I know it's recuperative care, but they really focus on behavioral health there. And then, of course, we have Illumination Foundation, which does focus more on the recuperative care. So if you have any clients that are just got out the hospital or, you know, they have a broken arm or anything, or they need some type of medical assistance, that would be the best shelter that we can help assist them get into. And of course, we work with Riverside County Behavioral Health. So we have a good rapport with them where we can also help get them resources to there. And I pretty much kind of went over the process. We just go through the Access Center in order to get those referrals if we have somebody that meets criteria. And then a little bit about our PSA, as Sakoto mentioned earlier, they're the ones that go out in the field with RPD and code enforcement and outreach. So if they come across anybody that is wanting services, of course, it's never good when you are being approached by, you know, police. So we want to just make them sure that it's not just disciplinary, but we are there to offer services for them. We are able to, if they are willing to do services with us, we do store their items. We try to have them downside, but that is kind of an incentive to help them want to get into shelter. Oh, if you guys want to look at the quick video, yeah, it's about 2 minutes.
It's not gonna work, but we can show it like on the virtual. Stop sharing.
The city of Riverside.
It's just sitting there.
PSET, our public safety engagement team, addresses the impact of homelessness in our city through the provisions and supportive services to individuals experiencing homelessness and by effectively cleaning up sweeps of trash and debris and enforcement of illegal activity.
PSET focuses on hotspots in the city where there are heavy contaminants, be it streets, sidewalks, city parks, city libraries, and undeveloped areas.
2880.
Comprised of various city departments such as code enforcement, police, and Office of Homeless Solutions, along with nonprofit CityNet to address the homeless population across Riverside.
PSET identifies encampments. We make contact with individuals experiencing homelessness and provide various services. Some of these services include assistance with obtaining documents needed for housing, referrals to homeless shelters, mental health facilities, substance abuse programs, and hygiene kits. We connect these individuals to the county's homeless system for future housing opportunities. PSET also removes trash and debris in public rights-of-way. We notify private property owners of any violations occurring on their property and provide enforcement as needed.
The police department has dedicated police officers specifically trained in best practices with the homeless population to engage with individuals experiencing homelessness who may be participating in illegal activity. The police department provides a restorative justice approach while ensuring that the community is safe at large. As part of PSET, CityNet is an established provider with expertise in outreach and engagement to vulnerable populations experiencing homelessness, including mental health, substance abuse, and other challenges and barriers. In addition, CityNet offers shelter, housing, and other resources. With PSET, our partnership with law enforcement can encourage individuals who have had a brush with the criminal justice system to reform and seek a path of self-sufficiency.
The amount of effort it takes to house a homeless individual can vary. Some are ready for services right away, and others can take years due to trauma. This is why PSET, along with the Office of Homeless Solutions outreach workers, are dedicated professionals in establishing rapport with the unsheltered population, working day in and day out to offer services.
We thank you in being part of the solution to collectively improve the quality of life for Riversiders.
For those who want to help, we encourage you to download the 311 app to report any issues concerning homelessness so that our trained staff can address the concerns.
You can also contact the Office of Homeless Solutions Access Center at 951-826-5289, and our dedicated staff will deploy teams for assistance.
Carl Jasmine, that was it.
Yeah, we just give a little update on youth itself.
We have a question from Michelle. Sorry.
I just wanted to know if Socorro was the one that used to run Project Bridge.
Yes, I am.
Hi, Socorro. I haven't talked to you in like decades. It's nice to hear from you.
Thank you. Yes, so I was just going to give some updates on just, so the mayor has an initiative to end youth homelessness. The primary goal is to reach a functioning zero. Functioning zero for youth homeless means that fewer youth are experiencing homeless that can be routinely housed in a month. So we need every, go to the next slide. We need, our efforts are to, in our efforts, we did an initiative, a kickoff meeting with partners in August of last year. It's been a year already. We partnered with 19 different agencies
We meet with service providers every 2 weeks to review the community queue, like all of the youth, where they're at, what are they doing, and then trying to connect them to the resources such as like yourselves and how can we help them. The first task was to clean up the community queue. So we had a long list and we didn't know where these youth were at. And so working with the outreach workers and following up with them and seeing where they're at. Because at times, as you all know, I don't know, they kind of disappear and then we don't know what's happening. So at every 2 weeks meeting, it helps to be able to follow up with them. Where are we at? What are we doing? So currently there's 30 individuals on the community queue, 1 being referred to a different organization, 6 referrals made to Aspire. There's 8 pending confirmations, 10 connected to our rapid residential programs, and 1 is referred to another organization, Rancho Las Bolsas. So this is as of this week, right? As of this week, I got these updates for this week, just for this meeting, especially for this meeting. Can we get to the next slide? Yeah, and so again, the youth can visit the Access Center and they can come, the young adults, they can come in, they're walk-ins, we can help them. When Peace said, when they're out in the field and they encounter some of these young adults, they refer them to the Access Center. I know, like, we were in a meeting yesterday with the youth center and Rainbow was there, and we, it's just how we collaborate with Safe House and ourselves, and we share information as to how we can best help these young people. As Jasmine said, we have certain amount of beds for emergency shelter. Out of those beds, we have eight beds specifically per take. So if they'll get priority, if you have somebody that's in the city of Riverside that needs like 2 days, most likely we can most likely put them in because we refer them and we'll get them in, and we get a roster every day of how many TAY beds we have. So we give priority to the TAY.
And if we reach out to the street outreach team, you can connect them to that?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Usually, and then we've also partnered with their outreach team as well.
Because one connect makes it so much easier for the homeless youth instead of here's 3 numbers.
Right, for sure. So we definitely reach out to the city access center and they help us.
And I think that's about our presentation. If anybody has any questions.
Is the PSET a volunteer program or is it?
No, they're hiring.
Okay. Okay.
Are there opportunities to volunteer?
So it depends. It depends only because there is possibility of volunteering. But because of the population that we deal with, we want to make sure, at least that's for me, my own personal safety, but also is how many days a week, how many hours, how consistent are you going to be? We can't have somebody like, oh, I'll volunteer today and I'll come next month, or maybe I'll come, that type of thing. It creates more of an inconsistency, and we like to keep consistency in both in the center and outside of the field. But most likely the volunteer, if it was volunteer, we would probably take them at the Access Center. But with kind of like, okay, what's your schedule? Almost like a job. What's your schedule? How many hours are you going to come in? That type of thing. It's a commitment. It's a commitment. Jasmine has cards. I have cards myself. We'll go ahead and print them out. I have some brochures. Yes. Yes.
You had mentioned transportation. If we could get someone there in the morning, then they could get transportation.
Yes.
If they're going to DMV or like a social security office.
Oh, right. And when do we go to the DMV?
Every Thursday.
Yeah, you can say, and if they show up there, we like to have them, we like to know if possible, but if they show up on that day, there's a high possibility that we're going to take them, and as long as we have enough room in the van to transport. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Sorry, we do have one question from Michelle.
Hi, Socorro. We have a provider meeting with DPSS, and it's all the providers that run the housing programs for the non-minor dependents from foster care. Would you be willing to have a presentation at our next, or one of our provider meetings?
Yes, of course. You see that my email is on the screen. If you can just write it down,
Yeah.
send me your contact information, and then I'll, I'll respond to you. Of course.
Okay, I'll have Cynthia Powell will probably be the one that'll get a hold of you. She's the one that hosts the provider meetings, but I think it's really critical for all of us to know what's happening. I didn't even know that this program existed. And unfortunately, there are times when our youth don't do well, and when they exit out of our programs, they end up, needing these services.
Yes, of course. Yeah, sure, for sure, Michelle. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for that very much. Moving on to our standing item 16, honoring Cordell Thomas. Yeah. Did not have the pleasure of knowing Cordell or working with Cordell or just hearing about Cordell. I know Monique, who was instrumental in launching this whole group and getting us all together. She was served incredibly by Cordell as a mentor, and with just working relationships that I have in the last 10, 11 years. My first exposure with Cordell was with United Way. He was the executive director doing ballots onto his own consulting business and things like that, where he was in the community and so immersed in it. But as it states right here, is that he was a remarkable soul who dedicated his life to advocating for others. A man of faith, a man of heart of gold. His legacy will remain a guiding light. Cordell's faith was the driving force behind his unwavering commitment to his work. He firmly believed that everyone deserved a chance and redemption and growth. His faith taught him to love unconditionally and to see the inherent worth in every individual. And in his presence, his heart found solace, knowing that they were truly seen and valued. An incredible individual. So again, if you had the opportunity to meet him and know him and work with him, you were a very excited.
That's what I think for those touched a lot.
He did. He touched a lot of people.
He was a fair.
He was in charge of the Yak Yak group for a couple of years. Yeah.
He's the one that's been able to be here.
Just some of the activities that we've had our youth in this committee involved with over the years, with our head counts and just anything that was youth driven, he was always on board. So, definitely missed. Moving on to number 7, call for agenda items. This is Nikki's turn to shine for the next 3
Get people to cry and then just. I know. So, this is an opportunity. If anybody would like items on the agenda for the next meeting, this is a good opportunity to kind of share anything that you'd like on the agenda. You can type it in the chat for those online. You're also more than welcome to reach out to Gershom, Goalie, and they will get stuff on the agenda for next month. Is there anything anybody can think of, put me on the spot?
I'm thinking off of the top of my head, because we're from the college. So we have services that we offer our college students that are foster youth. And so we'd like to be able to provide a presentation here. If that's something that you see would benefit.
You're the next member spotlight.
So, and I'm speaking out loud because I'm trying to see how we would tie in and being able to really support, those that are going to college, but at the same time, how do we connect those that are already in college to all the services? So I'm trying to wrap my brain around it because we do have a lot of support at the college. And we want to see how we can provide that support and really build those community partners from what I can see here. So I've also appreciated the time here. It's been very eye-opening for me for everything that is offered. And I would just want to immerse ourselves even more in being able to share our information and also being able to collaborate with people as well.
So I would just like to add, I would like to introduce to everyone Victoria. I was connected to Victoria through Monique, actually. And Zuli and I actually met with her, and she has her nonprofit. So I don't know if you want to kind of share more about it, and perhaps we can have you on for the future meetings. Yeah.
Okay. Victoria here again, I think that's our business card if you want. I'm looking at the nonprofit housing agency for foster youth. So transitioning out of foster care, I'm looking to get about 20 or 30 youths in 1 by 2 units, but it's an entire program that they participate in. So are you getting licensed? Yeah. Or extended foster care? Yeah. Okay. There is like workshops that they have to do every single month, and for those workshops they get reductions. We're going to do the do's and don'ts of car buying, apartment 101. We do healthcare. We go over hygiene. We go over directness. Like all of the things that you need to be successful moving forward. Yeah, it's a 3-year program. I think I can share more when I'm on the calendar to present. Okay. And I don't think it's better lessons. Yeah. Oh.
Thank you.
And then sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead.
So I'm Vincent. I'm from Lutheran Social Services. You guys may have heard of us. We have locations all over Southern California, but I'd also like to put my hat in the ring to also do a presentation on what we do in a future meeting whenever it's available. But yeah, to bring some more visibility as to what we bring confidence to this community and you guys as providers.
Okay.
Walking everybody in.
We are.
Yeah.
And then under announcements, I would also like to introduce Ramon. Olive Crest, it's not our event, but we're offering up our Palm Desert office. Ramon is going to be offering a professional development class for youth 18 to 24. Do you want to explain what all your reboot camp is?
Sure. Thank you, everybody. Man, it's great to be here with all of you. You know how many resources are available for our young people. I'm also the chair of the ad hoc committee under the JDCC. And so we're doing our best to collect as many resources as we can.
And I bet a lot of our, well, both all members probably may not know your acronyms.
The JDCC is a Juvenile Justice Coordinating Council. And so that council created an ad hoc committee in January for us to be a working group so that we can come up with strategies and plans to help our youth that are system impacted. But that starts from prevention all the way to reentry. So that means this is for services for youth, even in schools that have not touched the justice system. And so we created a strategy, a 3-year plan for continual quality care. So we definitely want to partner with all of you to be able to have access to these resources. We all work in silos, and a lot of times our people are suffering just because they don't know how to access what's out there for them. And so that's something that we're trying our best to eliminate those service gaps throughout the entire county of Riverside. As far as the exception, we offer the REBOOT program. We're excited to partner with Olive Crest and Nikki. This REBOOT program is really about behavioral health, and it's really about, it has CBT therapy, narrative therapy. I myself was a young person, homeless at 15 years old. Addicted to methamphetamines, justice involved. So I've had a journey to escape that life from San Bernardino, California. Obviously, you know how rough it could be there. And so it's a miracle I'm alive, and I do my best to pay it forward. And so this program is designed to help those that are at promise, those that have suffered from trauma, which all of us have had trauma in our life, but it really helps them paint a new narrative. So it's not, all these other services, this is more something to help the mindset shift. And then this way they can take advantage of the other services that you're offering them. Because if they're just shut down and they're just broken and they don't want to hear anybody, then it's really difficult, like you said, to sign them up even to some of the stuff that we have. So this is a program that's kind of an initial, okay, you know, what's going on in me and how can I heal and grow? And so we're excited to do that. We have a $100 stipend for this cohort for the youth that's participating. It'll be 4 weeks every Wednesday evening. They're at Olive Crest, and we have a capacity right now for 20 participants. So that'll start September, I want to say 18th. It's a flyer that will send out.
Yeah.
But you know, hopefully you guys have some young people who would like to refer them to that, and would also help others with the programs that we have. We have many programs already.
And after this one gets going and Ramon's ready to expand, I'll be trying to like link him because I think he'd love to come down to him there. I think he'd love to go to meetings and stuff. So this is just the first starting for him to get this people can't talk about it.
I have a question. Is this going to be directed for youth that are in the desert community only?
So this is across Riverside County. So right now we contract with school districts, as well as like YLC. We've been talking with the city of Riverside. We have new contracts in place.
We just launched 3 new grants. One is a second chance grant for our Justice Youth, our Hired grant, our Amity grant, and again, all of them are all over Riverside County except for 2 of them. They found Amazon. They go back to District 5, so District 2. But if it's inclusive of all Riverside County, that's individual that can get introduced. Yeah. Thank you for that.
And I'll I'm sorry if I don't want to take more time, but the CBO Alliance, if you've not heard of it, it is a movement that started in January. It's growing quickly. We have support now coming from all over the country. People are flying in to help bring training, build our CBOs, our nonprofit organizations capacity. So you're talking about credible messenger training, grant training, everything you can think of. We're partnering with NPO Centric now. We met with them yesterday, as well as other foundations. So next town hall meeting is September 5th. I sent it, Nikki has it, so I don't know if you can forward it.
I'll forward it to Christian, then you can.
You can show up. It's a whole combination of nonprofits as well as county agencies that are involved, foundations, and you know, even for-profit businesses. It's all about discussing how can we help the young people and their families in our community and stop working in silos, bring our resources together from every department and all parts of the county. So I invite you all personally. I hope to see you all there. Be excited to be a great meeting.
So for this 4-week program that is going to be hosted at Olive Crest, that's just to clarify, that's going to be in person as we talked about, right? In the future, like if you know it goes to any other location, would you offer like virtual options or like hybrid options or?
Sure, yeah, we have done many virtual options. We've been doing it all through COVID.
Okay.
We serviced over 1,000 just in those couple of years online, and we've seen great results.
Mm-hmm.
But if nothing beats in person, we do it. You know, we do a lot of raffles, giveaways. We make it fun. It's an exciting class, but we definitely would be able to work with you on a whole virtual option. But the hybrid, I try to stay away from with these because it's very personal.
Mm-hmm.
And you get open. You open about your trauma. You open about your narrative. And so that's why I don't let the groups go outside of 20 even. 15 is a sweet spot because then people get used to each other and they feel more comfortable in that healing process.
Okay. Thank you.
I'm sorry. And for the city of Riverside, you guys are doing this Philander Center, right?
I'm waiting to hear back from them, yes, but they contacted me 2 weeks ago and I sent them the MOU. So as soon as they sign that, we'll be starting. We should have started 2 weeks ago. But yes, that's where we started.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I have brochures for everybody as well.
I wanted to see if I could also in the future also speak about what our UHS clinics do for the community and things like that as well, for not just youth, but for adults and everybody in the community. So there's a lot of things that through the County of Riverside clinics through Riverside University Health System that are completely free and or of low cost to the community, whether you have insurance or not.
Several workshops. Yes. So, very good.
Yeah.
We had a good example from their training with Narcan. Actually, that's that. Save a life. Yeah.
Wow.
Incredible.
Dang.
So you guys do all.
It's a challenge.
Value. Plus,
I don't know. I'm sure.
We're hoping to get back into Kemet when we can. I'm with RUHS, Public Health Family Planning. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you, everybody. I would really like to thank everybody for coming. It just seems like these Yak meetings have, our attendance has really soared, and so many community partners coming on, and I appreciate that. So we will adjourn. Next month is virtual only, so be sure you have your email address down on the sheet so that they can send you the invite. And we'll see everybody in person for all the city chocolate treats in November.
attendance for anybody that was with us online on Teams, that they've signed in, so that we've got good attendance records for this meeting. Thank you.
Okay.
My bad.
Virtual next month. It's the
The 26th.
okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
All right.